YouTube, welcome to Cafe Innova and welcome to our reaction to Sandy Thom. We are going to react to the song Punk Rocker. Let's get started with our reaction to this one. Not heard Sandy Thom, I think. Requested by our patron Big Dan.
Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. In 77 and 69, revolution was in the air. I was born too late into a world that doesn't care. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. When the head of state didn't play guitar, not everybody drove a car. When music really mattered and when radio was king. When accountants didn't have control and the media couldn't buy your soul. When computers were still scary and we didn't know everything. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. In 77 and 69, revolution was in the air. I was born too late into a world that doesn't care. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. When pop stars still remained a myth and ignorance could still be bliss. And when God save the Queen, she turned a whiter shade of pale. My mom and dad were in their teens and anarchy was still a dream. And the only way to stay in touch was a letter in the mail. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. In 77 and 69, revolution was in the air. I was born too late into a world that doesn't care. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. When record shops were still on top and vinyl was all that they stopped, and the super info highway was still drifting out in space. Kids were wearing hand-me-downs and playing games, men kick-arounds, and footballers still had long hair and dirt across their face. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. In 77 and 69, revolution was in the air. I was born too late into a world that doesn't care. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. I was born too late into a world that doesn't care. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair.
Yeah. Interesting. Amazing. I like this.
Yeah.
I definitely like the lyrics a lot. I like those beats also, big bang drum beats that were coming. It sounded good. There's something about her voice that the way she sang, rather, I would say. I like her voice, but this way she sang, I didn't like completely. There's something about it. Maybe somebody can like it. Someone like me may not entirely like it. There's something about it. The way it goes, I felt it should have been slightly different. You can have different thoughts on it, but the way it's constructed, the way it is written, it was all in there. It was very interesting to go through all of those lines. It was written well, and this is mature writing. It's intelligent writing, putting everything literally off her time period and putting it out there for you, and her desire to have been there. I like the references that were made, that they were crystal clear for anyone who's seen both the times, perhaps the 70s as early 70s to late 70s, and being born later, or somebody who comes from that time altogether. I like those lines. The way it was written was wonderful, but I don't know, her voice to me didn't make it that grand.
Yeah, okay. This was a decent song. It definitely will connect with people who were around at that time and will resonate with the words that she's taken up. Mm-hmm. The years 69, 77, revolution in the air, as she calls it. She wants to be a punk rocker with flowers in her hair. Takes you to those images of Woodstock. Videos of Woodstock, as well as other, big rock events that happened in those years. Yeah, there were a lot of protests. There were a lot of peaceful protests at that, especially in the US, mainly related to wars.
Post-war,
as well as inequality, social inequality, racial inequality, I don't think much has changed really. In fact, things have gotten worse.
Yeah.
So there's even more need to be a punk rocker today. So you don't really need to go back to those days.
Yeah.
You can easily be a punk rocker with flowers in your hair today. So I completely disconnect with that idea that you need to go back in time to live through all this.
It's the right time.
There are even more protests, there are even more opportunities, there are even more inequality, racial injustice, religious injustice, gender injustice, and that this whole category LGBTQI. How many
And then
letters
ABCD,
will be added to it. I don't like joking about such things, but it's amusing, it just goes on and on. It's like people out there find a way to segregate people.
Yeah.
Large groups of people, rather than get people together, they find a way to segregate people more. So when another letter is added to that LG, what has started as the LG community, now it has become LGBTQI. So, they find a way to find another group. This group is like that. Let's find a letter to associate them with. So B for blacks, H for Hispanics, I for Indians, and so on, so on, so on. Of course, the I in LGBTQI doesn't stand for Indians.
Right.
And quite honestly, Indians are so proud of their cultural heritage that they will never want to associate with such communities and people who segregate them based on those parameters. So yeah, while the song is good, whatever it was, the music, I like the drums.
Yeah,
Two kinds of drums used. So it makes it like a, marching band kind of thing. A person in the front, a cheerleader perhaps singing, and then that is what she sounded like anyway. And, the marching band behind her with just two drummers mainly. So it sounded okay, but why do you need to go back in time? Right now, enough opportunities. There's more racial divide in countries such as America and several countries in the West than what it was back then. There's more social inequality, more inequality of income, and so many other parameters. Obesity is a racism agenda. You can't call obesity a race. It's a disease. But most people don't understand. Same with old age. Most people don't understand that it's like a pandemic by itself. The discrimination that old people face, elderly people face all over the world, not just in America or India. A lot of places. Of course, in India, it's far, far lesser than America because culturally we are taught and we have seen that elders have a lot of wisdom and they take care of even grandchildren and they have such a major role to play in society that we naturally take care of them too, no matter what, whether they are dying, unhealthy, unfit, not working, no income. We still take care of them. So it's different here than America, of course, where the elderly are just thrown into homes or wherever they can be thrown. So
it's rather a taboo here to even think of putting your parents in a old age home. Although some people do it because I think they just don't have an option. But
in the cities
where
Western culture has played a dominant role in the last few decades.
Selfish so much.
People just blindly follow Western culture and their Western traditions. So yeah, it is more often seen in cities. But if you go to towns and villages, the countryside of India, you'll never see such a thing happen even in 2022. It will be crazy to see it happen, but there may be cases, of course, but those are very few, exceptional, rare cases. So yeah, this song, you don't have to go back in time and wear flowers in your hair and all that.
You wear it today and do it.
There's enough around happening in the world today. It's far, far worse than what it was 50 years ago. Whether people landed on the moon or not, that's a different story. I still feel it was all shot in the studio, as Americans do most other things in their lives, shooting it in the studio and pretending it's actually real. So yeah, you don't have to go back to 1969 and 77. 2022, enough for you to do.